Hello everybody, it's Danny and Wanda from Deep South Homestead. Danny's still setting up.
Everything's set up here.
Hopefully we can read the chat a little bit. No, it's messed up some ways. Move it over.
I'm getting there.
It's all up in the middle of our chat. Alright, that looks better.
That looks better, don't it? Got everything adjusted on the screen. I've never seen a red dot in front of that before.
Okay, do y'all hear us? And
you hear us and see us and everything's good, I reckon.
It's probably an update, I hope.
It probably is, but I mean, we're jumping in and out of red, orange, green, yellow.
Y'all may or may not can hardly hear you.
That's wide open.
We're further away from the camera. Do we need to be closer?
They said Facebook and internet's been janky today.
That's great.
Okay. Loud and clear, it says.
Aletha says loud and clear, but
sounds good. Everybody else saying it's all good. Okay. We'll be planting potatoes tomorrow. My peppers and tomatoes are looking good. Hello from zone 10B. Oh, well, you don't have to worry in 10B. Oh, man.
So we've got potatoes. You saw in the onion video, we've got potatoes up.
Yeah, they're about
pretty good.
10 inches high now.
It's driving me crazy because I feel like I'm sitting off. You move that over.
It ain't got nothing to do with that.
No, it's fine. No, that's it too. This was off. Okay.
Okay.
I feel a little better now.
Okay, yeah, I'd have to grab the screen and drag it over.
Ran the screen over, and I felt like I'm sitting over trying to get this way.
Mobile Bay Prepper says it's feeling like spring here on the Gulf Coast. Loving it. That's going to change here in about 4 or 5 days, I think.
Today was warm. It was nice.
No, it was nice today.
And
wind was blowing like crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we might look a little better. Maybe not. I mean, we don't look better.
No, we don't look any better. The lighting may be just a little bit better.
Different.
We changed the lighting in the room here, so that may be a little bit better.
And it's still not what we want, but I can't do lights in front of me. And to put lights behind the camera shining on us like most people do, I would have a massive headache in the first 5 minutes. So
yeah.
I can't do that. I can't do things normal YouTubers do, can I?
No, you can't. Everybody seems to be getting their potatoes and stuff like that in. That's really good, guys. I am excited that y'all have that. I don't understand why that's down right there.
Are we on Crazy Days, guys?
I don't know.
Hold up. Are we on Deep South? Y'all
You're the one who messes with a computer here. I've seen that.
Have I done something weird?
It's got a wrench.
I'm not sure where we're at, but I've got Crazy Days up as a chat. And no, because I did put it on Deep South. I know I did.
I've seen Crazy Days.
But I pulled up Crazy Days to check something. So I had 2 screens open. I had Crazy Days and I had Deep South.
Okay.
So the chat's running on Crazy Days. Y'all don't ask me if I can mess up. Yeah, we're on Deep South. I just got the chat as Crazy Days. I'm sorry, y'all. Blame it on the...
Lippy says Deep South.
Okay, I knew I put it on Deep South, but our chat is Crazy Days. Don't ask me.
I don't know how is that even possible?
I opened 2 screens. I had YouTube up over here on Deep South, YouTube up over here on Crazy Days.
Right.
Well, when we're live on Deep South. But I didn't pull Crazy Days down. I must have pulled up the chat on Crazy Days. Don't ask me. If somebody can do something stupid.
Yeah, but when they watch the video when it's rendering, there's not going to be a chat because it's on another channel.
No. It's like if I had my cell phone and was sitting here with Crazy Days. It's the same difference. Just take my word for it. We're blowing our own mind. Russia did it. Yes.
Russia. Blame it on Russia. It was blame it on Russia. Okay, there we go.
Yeah. We've got one more cool snap, but we do have... What did you do? You did some peas.
Oh, man.
What did you plant?
I planted I planted zucchinis in the little house tool trays. I planted gold prize yellow straight squash in the house tool things. I planted eggplants. I planted watermelons. I planted cantaloupes. I planted tomatoes. Let's see. What else did I plant? I think that's all the seeds I planted.
And they're all in the Remington Solar greenhouse that we're calling the potting shed.
Yes.
Is that what you've been calling it, potting shed?
Yes, the potting shed. Yeah, I have them in there.
And we also have our white sweet potatoes. We had subscribers send us white sweet potatoes, so we put them in.
Matter of fact, Aletha was one of them who sent us the white sweet potatoes.
Aletha's in here somewhere.
Yeah.
And we got those going. We got the pink, what do you call them? The other pink sweet potatoes.
The red ones?
Puerto Rican or
whichever variety they were, yeah.
Yeah. And we got those going. I've got some tomatoes. What else did I have? I had some onions. Yeah. My Diva cucumbers.
I seen you plant them in your high tunnel.
Yes. Okay. My high tunnel is, I have a video coming out maybe tomorrow, guys, on my high tunnel. Showing you that I just planted a bunch of things. I planted some French marigolds and...
Yeah, we picked them up in town today.
Yeah. So
we went to town today and made a run. Actually, I've been to town more this week than I think I have ever been to town.
Since the last time we had gas issues.
Well, it's been a long time.
Like several months.
I have went to town twice this week and bought fertilizer. I went to town twice this week and bought feed. I went to town twice this week and bought building material.
And twice this week to the dentist.
Twice this week to the dentist. Miss Wanda had a tooth cut out of her mouth. She's been having tremendous amounts of problems with that tooth. And it's still, I don't know if it's...
It's not better.
It's not no better. She's having to live on pain medicine just to get through it till Monday to see if they can go back and see what's going on. What else did we buy while we was in town? I can't...
You bought another persimmon tree.
Oh, I did. Bought another persimmon tree to go on my property here. And guys, more fuel. Gas, we paid today... We paid $4.35 a gallon for non-ethanol gas where we live at.
Now that's the guy that pumps it.
Yeah.
Is this a little more expensive through him than it is if you go to Walmart?
But I would rather support my local people than I had give my gas money to these big box stores, even if it's 50 cents a gallon cheaper. I don't care.
And it's just like he pumps it.
Well, it's just like me and Tag talked about, because we don't have house notes and land notes and all this kind of stuff. We can absorb more of this, and I would rather keep my money to the local people than I had to go in these service stations, these big chain service stations where you get this ethanol gas and all that junk. We ain't bought ethanol gas, and I don't even know when we bought ethanol gas. We patronize our small town people, even though it costs more. You know what I mean? We just believe in doing that.
Yeah, and we've been using this gas station, almost since you and I have been married.
Yeah.
We did stop at some of the local convenience stores for a while, but we got to going back to him because he pumps the gas, and it's just hometown feeling when you can pull up and talk to the guy, and he's pumping you gas, and if you wanted a tire fixed, he can do that. He just doesn't do it hardly anymore. That's not something he cares about doing. He has the full service station, but all he does now is pump gas and diesel.
Yeah.
And you get it from two different places. The front is your gas, and over to the side is your diesel. It ain't all in one thing underground.
Yep, it's all about supporting your local people now. He told me, he said, I don't know how high it's going to go. As a matter of fact, when I pulled up to get gas, this is what he told me. I said, how much is it a gallon? He said, if you're interested in how much it is a gallon, go on down the street to one of these cheap places down here where you don't get real gasoline. Just drive on, Of course, that's just the way me and him joke with each other. But I told him, I said, no, I just want to know about how much it was going to take to put another quarter of a tank in this four-wheel drive truck of mine. And I said, just start at $40, and
We actually got change back.
And I actually got a little bit of change back from a $40 bill.
And we only like a quarter of a tank. I mean, we hadn't used hardly any gas because we topped it off a week or so ago when we knew gas was going up.
Yeah.
And
yeah, we won't buy the non-ethanol gas because if you do, all you're doing is destroying your vehicles. You destroy your lawnmowers, you destroy your weed eaters, your chainsaws. I refuse to buy it. You know, I will not buy it I will stop and ask everywhere I go, where is the non-ethanol gas at? And plus, you put it in something, in a year's time, it's gummed up everything that's in it because it's not made to go in vehicles.
What is it? A dual tank truck? Do you have a dual tank?
No, it's not a dual tank truck.
It's just huge.
My 4-wheel drive, I had a huge gas tank put in it when I bought it. I always have my trucks custom built. I call the factory, I have my trucks custom built, and I order them. That way they're delivered to me. I don't just go to a lot.
Well, you used to. We ain't bought none in long since I've been.
This is back when I was in business. I used to just go. I never did just go to the lot and buy a truck. I just didn't believe in doing that. I ordered mine.
Little Buffalo wants to know, where do we get a $40 bill? Danny invented it.
I invented a $40 bill. Yes. Oh.
Yeah.
It's that ethanol junk, guys. If we would quit using ethanol and quit going to these cheap ass places like Walmart and Sam's and all this kind of junk and quit buying this junk, they would quit selling it. But we as consumers, all we try to do is we look for the cheapest crap in the world, and because of that, China has become wealthy off of us.
The dollar items.
All the dollar stuff.
Let's go to the dollar store.
Everything's a dollar. Everything, cheap, cheap, cheap. And they have destroyed us buying cheap junk. And it's sent all of our manufacturing out of this country because all we are interested in is cheap junk. And I refuse to buy anything cheap.
He just about does. I mean, I'll go look at something, I'll say, well, this costs less than this. He says, I don't want that. Let's look at this. I get tickled at him. Hold the line. Love the broadcast. Podcast.
Podcast, yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, every town has ethanol-free gas in it somewhere. You just got to find it. I mean, our town only has one little station, and we might have two. But other than that, every other gas station around here's got ethanol in it, and we refuse to. I just won't do it.
Yeah. Well, we've been all week. I'm trying to think. 2 weeks ago, or a little better, my tooth started hurting. It's been probably close to 3 weeks now, hasn't it?
Yeah.
And I suffered through it because I thought it would quit like a dummy. And we had the carrot manuals coming out and stuff, so I've worked on getting all that stuff done. And Danny said, well, do you need to go to the dentist? No. So for about a week, I just stood it. And it got to the point I couldn't stand it anymore. Then we made an appointment for the dentist. I went. They said, it's infected here. Here's some meds. Take it for, about 4 or 5 days?
Yep.
We went back on the 1st, I think. And y'all, I don't know what happened. I thought I was in there about 20, 30 minutes, 40 minutes at the most. How long was I in there?
You was in there over 2 hours.
And I didn't even realize it. It was so cold in there, and I was shaking. Plus, I was nervous. They gave me gas, and the whole time they had this big thing. They keep your mouth expanded so you don't bite them and all this stuff. And I'm telling you, they asked me a dozen times, "Are you okay? Are you okay? Are you okay?" And I got tickled, and I started laughing because I was shaking so bad. It was freaking me out. And then I realized they gave me laughing gas.
Yeah.
But it really messed my jaw up. Either I've got a dry socket or else it's the nerve. Not sure which. And they shut down, 2 o'clock Thursday, and will not be a dentist in the office till Monday. So that's where I've been taking meds, just trying to keep this from hurting. How do you feel about 85 flex fuel? I don't know what that is. 85? It doesn't that say 85?
85. Yeah, you can get E85 flex fuel. You can get that. I don't. My truck is a multi-fuel truck. But I still use only non-ethanol in it, and I get a lot better gas mileage. I have very good service out of the truck and everything. I mean, it's a 2006 truck that I have had almost zero problems out of.
Yeah. Propane's $3.16. We got propane, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago?
Yeah, what did we... Well, I paid for a propane bottle that goes on a gas grill. I paid $17 three weeks ago. Yeah.
Probably at least.
Been about 3 weeks ago, I paid $17.
Yeah.
Today...
I have clove oil. I've been using clove oil.
Today I got, yesterday, I got 5 gallons of gas and 5 gallons of tax-exempt diesel for my tractor, and it was $43 for those 2 5-gallon things.
He liked the flipped.
They said don't drink anything hot, it'll cause a dry socket.
Yeah. They tell me to lukewarm, so everything's kind of been lukewarm. Nothing really cold. I've used clove oil, salt water, stayed on yogurt. Y'all, I've eaten a lot of yogurt. Applesauce.
Guys, my tractor, I didn't see who it was, said tractors get gallons per mile. My tractor actually does very well. Now, I have a Soviet-made tractor. I hate to say that and what's going on in the Ukraine right now, but I have a Soviet-made tractor that I can put 15 gallons of fuel in that tractor in the first of the spring, and it'll last till the end of summer and keep going into the fall. It's an air-cooled one, and that thing just does not use no fuel. I mean, I hate to say that, but it's got the upper hand on ours.
But it needs the steering fixed.
It does need the steering fixed on it, but that thing
it needs some brakes.
And a seat.
And a seat.
Yeah.
And probably some tires.
Probably need some tires because I haven't been using it so long.
Let's just say it's not been used in a while, and it will not probably. I mean, we would be riding on the rims if we had to go with it.
Yeah.
Danny intended to fix it, and we just hadn't. He's had too many projects.
Mr. Danny, let's see. What fertilizer did you say you put on your onions? Mine are planted in raised beds. Once I plant them, I use liquid fertilizer on mine. Now, we didn't have any fish emulsion or anything like that. All we could find at the time for quickness was Miracle Grow, which is just liquid nitrogen. It's not going to hurt anything as long as you use it on something like onions. But you can use fish emulsion, liquid nitrogen, until they start getting ready to bulb. And when they start bulbing, I take a big giant screwdriver and punch a hole right down beside the onion plant, and I put calcium nitrate down in that hole, about a tablespoonful down in beside each onion, and I do that every 2 weeks while the bulb is growing.
Yeah. Somebody said don't drink coffee.
Yeah, if you put a tea bag on that, they said it'll help that dry socket.
Yeah, I forgot tea bags. Don't drink coffee. Okay, that's not even happening. I've been drinking coffee, but it's not hot.
She drinks coffee every day.
I drink it lukewarm, and somebody said not even to do tomatoes. Well, I made soup that was a tomatoey base, so that might not have helped either. Because I did turkey and broth and tomatoes and made a soup and took and pureed carrots and added to it. It was really, really good, but it might not have helped matters none either. So I might ought to.
Timothy Harris says, "What type of fertilizer do you use when you're planting your corn?" I use triple 13 because corn and onions are both very heavy nitrogen feeders. The more nitrogen you put to onions and the more nitrogen you put to corn, the better off it is. I fertilize my corn 3 different times. I fertilize it when I'm planting it. I side dress it when it's about 8 inches high, and then I side dress it when it's about 12 inches high, and I mean I pour the nitrogen to it.
Do you use wood ash in your garden?
Yes, I use wood ashes in my garden only during the fall so that when springtime comes, I can do my pH test on my soil to make sure my pH is not too high. What does calcium nitrate do? Well, it gives you calcium and it gives you nitrogen. And it makes the onions grow really big. The bulbs on them grow up really big, really fast. Can you do a planting video? I have tons of planting videos out there.
Have 3,000 planting videos. Out of 3,000 videos, probably 2,500 of them are planting videos.
How serious will the food shortage get? It's going to get more serious than we want to talk about. As a matter of fact, it's going to get to be so bad, probably, that it don't matter how much money you have, you're not going to be able to buy what's out there. And then whatever's out there is going to be extremely expensive. Like, I was at the feed store twice this week, and both times I was there, the guy was on the phone talking with different companies, and he told me, he said, man, I don't know what we're going to do. He said, fertilize and corn and feed is going through the roof.
Billy said he saw a man go crazy yesterday when he saw the price of triple 13.
I was at the feed store, and I bought triple 13 for $21 a bag, and the guy told me that it's fixing to go way higher than that.
Yeah, he was actually on the phone when Danny was in there, and what did he say?
He asked the guy, he said, are you sure this is not a typo error on the message that you sent me? And the guy said, no, it's not a typo error. That's what it's costing.
Yeah. That's what, and everything's going up.
Yeah.
The feed went up. The fertilizer went up. What else? The gas.
The gas went up.
All of them are very noticeable. Then food is going up.
Yeah, food is going to be outrageous.
I went into the grocery store to find some stuff for...
You need potassium iodide. Everybody needs potassium iodide stocked up, stored up somewhere. We have ours. I mean, y'all need yours.
I went in the grocery store to find some things like yogurt and stuff to have here, and just looked around. Our grocery store's full. It wasn't that it wasn't. And I went into Piggly Wiggly. I did not go into Walmart. And so we don't have the empty shelves. I mean, I've not noticed those since probably a year or better. But I don't go very often. Probably every couple of months. And the prices, though. Everything looked like it had went. Like if it was $2, it's $2.99. If it was usually $3, it was $3.99. It all went up drastically.
Yeah, people are asking all kind of questions here about animal fertilizers. I mean, sheep fertilize is high in potassium and phosphorus a little bit, low in nitrogen. Chicken fertilize is high in nitrogen, low in everything else. Rabbit fertilize is good, is high in potassium and phosphorus, but low in nitrogen. And any of these organic fertilizers, everybody's asking about organic. If you use organic, you have got to start using it 3 months before you ever, 3 weeks to 3 months before you actually need it. Because when you put it in the ground, only about 10% of it's going to be available immediately. The other 90% is going to be spread out over the next 3 to 4 months. So you're not going to get much benefit out of it up front.
Okay, somebody asked, what kind of kale is it that we grew? It's the
Siberian dwarf kale.
Yeah, it's not regular.
Not regular, it's dwarf.
And some of the best kale. I saw Not a Real Farm popped in. What can I use in place of triple 13 in my garden?
Any analysis, you don't ever want to start a plant off other than corn or onions with a high nitrogen. Everything else you want to start off with something like 8-24-24, 5-10-10, or you can do 10-10-10. But you can do 8-8-8 or anything like that to start off with, because too much nitrogen is hard on a small plant. You need to wait till your plants get larger to be able to put any more nitrogen to it.
To those asking potassium iodine.
Iodide, not iodine. You need potassium iodine, not iodide.
I don't know what that means, except you changed the letter.
Milk on Long Island is $4.59. I don't know how much milk is here. We haven't bought milk in 10 years, probably.
Yeah, I don't think I bought milk since Danny and I married.
We don't buy milk.
No, I use almond milk when I use it, and we have pretty much cut ourselves using milk. I use a very limited milk. We've limited ourselves on butter so that we're not tied to a dairy any way, shape, or form. We do have the cows. They can be milked. They can make butter and stuff, but we have tried to cut things like that out on a big overall basis. We eat pretty, I guess, without a lot of frou-frou, vegetables and meat, and we don't add too much to it. Now, we do use butter. We do use some milk, but it is almond milk and it's shelf stable, and I don't keep a lot of it because we just don't use that much, and you can't get it long term anymore. Used to where Danny and I would buy shelf stable milk, I could buy it and it would last a year to a year and a half on before the date went out. Now I bought some 2 months ago. It goes out next month. It's 3 months or less now. You can't buy it long term.
Yeah. Tons of questions, but I just can't remember. Let's see here.
Is alfalfa pellets a good fertilizer?
Alfalfa pellets are okay, but you have to watch out because a lot of your alfalfa now is GMO. It's been genetically modified, so you have to be be careful about that if you don't want to keep putting that into your soil.
Mobile Bay said prime rib steaks were $24.99 a pound at Rouse's in Daphne today.
Well, that's about right.
It's going up, guys. All kinds of meat.
Yeah. Everybody's wanting a fertilizer book.
Hello from the hills of Tennessee.
There's Mr. Mickey.
We have got all them boards up.
We got all your boards up, Mr. Mickey. You'd be proud of us. We don't have none left.
Well, the little short pieces.
Well, we got some little tiny pieces left, but other than that, all the big boards are up.
We are really pumping it.
I wish I could remember half these questions that went by. Let's see here. People saying their carrot manual arrived. Ants in the garden. Guys, it depends on what kind of ants you have. Now, if you've got sugar ants, or we used to call them stomp ants, or piss ants, or black ants, or any of them kind of ants, you can use cinnamon and borax and
just about
anything like that to kill them. But if you've got these imported fire ants like we have down here in the South, ain't one thing gonna get rid of them jokers, and that's just gasoline or some kind of strong chemical. That's the only thing you're gonna get rid of them with.
And so anybody that's saying something about, I don't know what kind of ants that is, look up imported fire ants, not regular ones, but imported, and you'll see that there's probably not a person on the face of the earth that would say anything other than what Danny just said. You ain't getting rid of them.
Do we make vinegar? Yes, we have, 3 gallons of vinegar in there being made?
Pear vinegar.
There's pear vinegar, yes.
Pear is one thing we have a lot of.
Yeah.
What do you need potassium iodine and what strength?
Potassium iodine is what you use in case of if a nuclear bomb goes off or something, you rub it underneath your throat right in here, over your thyroid and stuff like that to protect you from thyroid cancer.
Okay.
Permapasture Farm says piss ants are not in the gardens. They're in Washington, D.C. I agree with you, Billy and Michelle. I agree with you.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. Let's see here. Where are we at here?
What kind of potassium iodine do you get, and who do you go through?
You can... I'll be honest with you. I got mine from a Messianic church. They sell it.
Before we married.
It's before Wanda and I married. I got it at a Messianic church because they sold all that stuff in a little store there they had in their church. You could buy tallits and zeets and mezuzahs and different kind of hats and potassium iodine and all this kind of stuff was in there. They had all that stuff for sale because they take care of their people. And I bought some while I was in their congregation. They don't call it a church, they call it a congregation. What do we do with our extra vegetables you grow after your needs are met? We don't have any extra ones after our needs are met. We use all of them for our needs. And if we have any bad ones, they go to the pigs or chickens or something like that. But other than that,
if somebody comes by, friends or family, we give them extra. We always have to.
No eggs that they give me.
They said they didn't need any. They still got some.
Oh, they still got some. Okay.
I think I sent plenty last time. Yeah, we give away quite a bit.
We give away a lot.
And that's just our thing. But I either can them, freeze dry them, feed them to the chickens, feed them to the pigs, or feed them to the cows.
Yeah.
If there's anything left over, then we would see about broadening out. But believe me, our chickens and cows have to eat just like everybody else. And while y'all may be buying a lot of feed, we're buying minimum feed because we do feed them the excess. That's one reason we plant what we plant, is because we have animals.
I got to slow this thing down. We're talking so much, the questions are just getting past us. And I want to be able to be kind to people. Okay. Let's see here.
I don't even.
Do you think they will ration gas? I don't believe we're going to ration gas.
Not as long as we're still getting it from Russia.
I think they're probably going to raise the price of it up so high because we're going to go into hyperinflation that they're probably just going to try to break people's pocketbooks. They're trying to make you stay at home because the thing right here didn't work to make people stay at home. So they're probably going to just break your pocketbook and make you stay at home. Okay.
Right, you jumped it. Do you recommend using Epsom salt for tomatoes?
Tomatoes when planting. When it comes to planting tomatoes, I would be cautious about putting Epsom salt out unless I knew I needed it. Now, peppers, yes. If you're growing in high tunnels, containers, or greenhouses, yes, I would use it in them. But if I'm just growing out in the ground, I would wait before I actually used it.
Do I freeze dry boiled eggs? We don't boil eggs, but now right now my freeze dryer is going with baked eggs. I took and scrambled and put in what do you call muffin tins?
Yeah.
I would do one egg, scramble it, put it in the muffin tin, and I filled it up and baked them. So now I have scrambled eggs in muffin size, and then I also broke one egg in some muffin tins and baked them, and it left it whole, and it's like a soft boiled egg. Now, not for me. My son is disabled, and I send lots of food to him. So what I'm doing is I'm freeze drying those, and we'll vacuum seal them down and send them to him so that he will have extra food if he needs it. Shane.
Okay, Shane, thank you. Good evening. I'm wondering if you will share the size of your farm or barn. It's 30 by 40. It done went away on me here. This thing's moving
Danny
so fast.
can't read that fast.
Okay, I'm going to have to lock it down here. Price range of the kit by itself without all your modifications and possibly where I could order one from to build myself. Ours came from...
We both drawing a blank.
What's his name?
Right here in Wiggins.
It's right in my hometown here, but he does work all over the United States, in the southern part of the United States. Oh, it's an unusual name.
Give me a minute. Anyway, talk about the price. It was
under 13,000.
Under 14.
Under 14. I'm sorry, for them to come out and put it up and buy the barn.
Now, I've had it in my head 2 or 3 times.
I keep wanting to say Richards or... Go back and watch our video because it's on the name of the... We took a video of the side of his truck door.
Yeah.
And it's on that truck door. I can't think of the name of it right
I'll
off.
think of it in a minute and I will tell you. But it's you told them the size?
Yeah, 30 by 40.
Okay. And we had them drop the sides down.
Yeah.
Now, according to how you may have it made, the type roof, the type metal, all that would be a big difference.
When storing water in plastic bottles, do I need to add anything? We don't ever store water in plastic bottles because it leaches out dioxin into it. How would food rationing be implemented? Just like it was, go back and study the World War II era, whenever they rationed food and all back then, and it's going to be probably done exactly the same way.
Right.
Okay, let me
Is
figure
the
out where I'm
weather
at.
warfare interfering with blossoms and ruining fruit production? High
Yes.
variance in warm and cold weather.
Yes, weather modification or weather warfare is definitely interfering with the blooming of everything, and it's causing trees to bloom out earlier. That's why I'm telling people to buy stuff for one grow zone colder than where you live. That way you're guaranteed that it won't bud out before it's supposed to.
Yeah, I showed Danny pictures, and I think I put it on Instagram, of the huckleberries. We've already got huckleberries the size of the end of my finger, and then we've still got blooms all over. So we've got huckleberries out now. They're going to be ready, looks like in the 1st of April. Here, give me this one.
What do we spray on our fruit trees to prevent worms? We don't spray anything on our fruit trees to prevent worms. All I put on my fruit trees is an oil emulsion on my fruit trees.
Jeff Register Buildings. Thank you.
Yes, Jeff Register. Yes.
Okay, Jeff Register Buildings in Wiggins, Mississippi, or Jeff Register Metal.
Yes,
Buildings,
Jeff Register Metal is what it's called.
or something like that. But
Yeah.
if you look up Jeff Register in Wiggins, Mississippi, it'll pop up.
Yeah.
But
let me tell you, there's a long waiting list now. We waited for, 4 months?
Metcalf Mills. We're going to get with you. We just been busy for 2 days.
Yes, Justin, we are going to get hold to you.
Wanda's been having issues, and Danny's having to do most of the work.
Yeah, Wanda's had her tooth extracted, and I'm trying to bust my tail around here to get everything done.
He's been taking care of my chickens and the greenhouses and all the stuff that I usually. Plus, he's done more cooking in the last 3 or 4 days.
Yeah.
So he's kind of the mom and the pop of the whole business around here right now. I've helped him some. Nice shirt. An American Homestead, right?
Go over to an American Homestead. My old buddy Zach has these up for sale. And guys, I honestly believe stupid should hurt. It should hurt so bad that you're not even able to get up and do anything.
Tell more about the oil that you spray on trees.
It's just an oil for fruit trees. It's not toxic or anything like that. It's to kill the scale and the mites and all the insects that get in the bark, all that kind of stuff on a tree. You spray it while it's not blooming, and it's really good.
Yeah, just Metcalf Mills did an amazing job on
I love that
grist mill.
I love that grist mill he had there. As a matter of fact, I was going to buy it, but somebody bought it before I got to it. And I am definitely interested, Justin, in talking to you about your vertical one versus the horizontal one.
Tammy, I wish Danny could sit and write a book on everything, but we just don't have time. And when he finally breaks down and stops long enough,
I fall asleep.
Yeah.
That's the honest truth. I mean, I fall asleep.
He was asleep before we started. I had to go wake him up, to be honest, 5 minutes before we started. He works so hard during the day that when he comes in and sits down, he turns on the internet, tries to answer questions, because y'all, on our videos, 90% of the time, it is him answering questions, not me.
Yeah.
I don't do stupid. Stupid should hurt on videos. I'm going to just say the comments on videos,
Yeah.
most of you are good.
Yeah.
Now,
most of our subscribers are great. Yeah.
I love to read the comments as long as they're not the stupid ones down there. And I agree people can disagree. I have people all the time on Crazy Days that disagree with me. But I don't do stupid, and 90% of the time I don't have stupid on Crazy Days. But Danny draws stupid or something. I don't know. Sometimes I think they attract him.
I'm attracted. People just get attracted to me because I say stuff that's off the wall.
And they like to argue.
And they like to argue, you know. yes, water stored in a milk jug is fine for like taking a bath or flushing a toilet or something like that.
And temporary.
And temporary stuff, but I don't. Let me tell you why I say that. I've done close to 10,000 hours worth of research into cancer, talked to oncologists one after another, and all the oncologists have assured me that most breast cancer in women comes from dioxin, using microwaves. I don't even have a microwave in my house, just simply because of that. Putting plastic stuff in microwaves, heating stuff in plastic stuff, it releases the dioxin into food, and that dioxin causes breast cancer in women, and using underarm deodorant with aluminum in it, and lauryl sulfates, and all this kind of stuff, getting in the glands under your arms, your lymph nodes, and it moves from there into the breasts of women and men, and they end up with breast cancer. So that is why I said what I said.
All right, I have grown horseradish in the past. I got it from Alderman Farms, and I grew it for a couple of years, and then the bed that I had it in, Danny was going to move everything, and I kind of lost it. And when I contacted Patty at Alderman Farms, she didn't have any either. She kind of lost hers in the mix. So right now I do not have horseradish. I got most everything else, but that's one I just haven't managed to replace.
Oh.
If you use, wait, it jumped.
It jumped.
Something about using rabbit manure.
Have I ever had a heifer start labor and then stop for several days? No, I never have had one to start labor and then stop. Usually, I've seen that happen before, not with mine, but I've seen it happen with another farmer. And when that happened, the calf actually died in the animal, and they had to have a vet come out and actually remove the animal out of the remove the calf out of the inside of the cow because it died. That's the reason the labor stopped. Because a lot of times they can re-induce labor in a cow if it has stopped to make it go ahead and pass all the stuff that's in it.
So how do we store water? We have several ways. Our
we
water
don't actually,
mainly is underground.
Our water is stored underground. We don't really store water. We have
live
streams and wells and
yeah.
We have
so we don't store in plastic.
No, we can get water out of the ground without having to have electricity or anything like that.
Yeah, but you can store in glass jars.
I would say glass if I was going to do it.
If I was going to do anything, even if you don't use cannon jars, if you can find any type of glass jars with a lid or something, just so they don't have metal around the top that would rust.
Aluminum is also in the pokey sticks. Yes, it probably is. Aluminum, mercury, and all that stuff in a lot of the pokey sticks is used as an adjuvant to carry it throughout the body. And so therefore, that's how we end up getting a lot of this kind of metals. And when that happens, a person needs to go have chelation done to get as many of the heavy metals out of the body as possible.
I'm just trying to read. Do you use manure for gardens or beds? Have you answered the manure question?
We used to use a lot of manure in our gardens and beds until grazon became a big problem in our cattle and cattle manure, and now
and the goat
manure. But now with the new farm oil barn, we're not using any hay that's had grazon in it now for several years. We will probably start using the manure out from under our new barn to be used in our gardens and stuff again. The old barn, which is my shop, all that'll just be dug up out of there and put on the back of the pond dam or something like that, so that weeds don't grow on the back of the pond dam and only grass grows there. And then the grass pulls the toxin out of the soil.
Yeah, everybody's saying they have a hard time with the schedules and stuff. I've found in my greenhouse, what I do is at least every 2 weeks I go through and fertilize everything. And that way I'm kind of on a schedule. I don't stick to it needs it every other day, or this plant needs it every week, and that plant needs it every 2 weeks, and that one needs it periodically. Mine is once every 2 weeks. Whether it needs it or not, that's when I fertilize. Danny knows it's easier for me to keep everything just one time.
Yeah, one person there said they're replacing all their kitchen items from plastic to glass. I actually done that. When Wanda come here, I didn't have any plastic in my house.
And now we have one cabinet that's all plastic, and I hate it with a passion, but every now and then I need something plastic. And it took me a long time to get used to all glass, because I had kids and I was used to plastic everything.
Yeah.
And now I won't hardly use plastic for much of anything. I grab those glass bowls. I'm so used to it now.
Can I just run water stored in plastic through my Berkey? I don't actually know everything that a Berkey takes out of the water. You could run it through an Alexa Pure, I know, but I don't know on a Berkey. I don't know about the Berkey filters.
Now, James asked, does it matter which battery I hook the EMP up on a diesel?
Yes, it does matter. You need to hook it to the one that has the battery cable that goes back to the ground on the frame.
How often do you fertilize your fruit trees in containers?
I fertilized mine last week. They're not, the ones in the greenhouses are not blooming out yet, so I went ahead and fertilized them. I fertilized all my citrus trees with citrus fertilizer, all my fruit trees with time release fertilizer, and I'll do it again when they start blooming.
Do we use any Mylar bags? I do
Yes.
use the Mylar from Harvest Right, my freeze dryer. I prefer their bags over any of the others. I bought some off Amazon, but they feel flimsy and cheap, and they don't seal down like I think they ought to. So I usually just go back to Harvest Right and order. And this time I've got an order coming in this week of the pleated bags so that they will stand up so you can put your stuff in it. One of the problems I've had is these flat bags are hard to get stuff in. So now I'm trying the pleated bags.
Thank you, Twisted Pony. We can see the calf moving in the mama's belly. My guess is that she wasn't really in labor to start with then. I mean,
something could have happened.
It could have been, if it's her first calf, a lot of times there's a lot of, just like women when they have their first child, they have false labor. It's not really that they're in labor. They just, it's, you know, things are starting to dilate and things are starting to get ready for the calf to be born. So it probably was just a false labor if it's a first calf.
Yeah. I get to start reading these and then it flips.
It jumps, yeah.
What do you think the Harvest Right is worth? Do I think it's worth the cost? Well, you have to look at it in the way you would use it. Danny and I use it on our produce. I hardly ever go to town and buy anything and run it through the Harvest Right. Most everything we run through there is our stuff. So I'm freeze drying our vegetables, our eggs, our stuff like that. And that way it's just preserving ours longer for us to eat. Now, if you're going to town and buying stuff and then freeze drying it, you'll have to weigh that cost out.
James, I answered your question a while ago on the EMP. You need to hook it to the battery that has the negative cable that goes to the ground.
Somebody says they spoke with military folks. They're saying to go with Soul Arc for the EMP. How did you decide on the company you are using?
I decided on the company I'm using based on the testing. I've actually been privy to seeing the background information of this company.
And the integrity of the men.
And the integrity of the men who's running the company. I've looked at a lot of their testing. They've been good enough to show me a lot of their stuff. The FBI, Homeland Security, all the government agencies are using these devices. A lot of your city waterwork places are using these devices on a lot of the city stuff around in different towns. That's the reason I use them. The one thing about military people telling you something is that most people in the military are not privy to what's going on in the military. They only know what's going on right where they're at, not on a broad spectrum. Unless they're like a general or something like that.
Miss Gail, I'm going to be doing a video in a week or so with me hooking my car up. She said her husband passed away before they got it done. So there will be a video on my channel, Crazy Days, within 2 weeks, of me hooking an EMP to my car.
Okay, that guy's a troll.
Yeah, just leave him alone.
He's a troll.
Y'all can just delete him.
Y'all, James Davis, you can just delete him. He's a troll. Because I've answered that twice and he still keeps doing it one right behind the other. He's just a troll.
Yeah, just take it down. Is straw around plants a good idea to keep weeds down?
If you can get true straw that has not been sprayed with some kind of chemical, it's perfectly fine. But that would be the only way I would look at it. There were some questions back here I want to go back to. Okay, here it is right here. All my cedars are dead. 100 acres of spruce died. To all green trees are brown. What happened, please?
Wow.
Couple of things. One, it could be there is a blight that is hitting a lot of the evergreen trees. Things like Leland cypresses and cedars and stuff like that. There's a blight that's hitting a lot of them. Secondly is 5G. If there's a lot of 5G in your area, 5G will kill anything it comes in contact with trees and stuff like that. They start dying from the top down. You'll see this. It just depends, where you live at, which one is true. Yeah, if you're using that, back to the question on the straw, if you're using straw that's been sprayed with anything, like Roundup or anything like that was used on it, it will kill everything that you've got, and it will make your soil toxic. So be careful where you get straw from.
Yes. Can you plant horseradish bought in a grocery store? You can try it. Usually they do not spray horseradish, but I would try it. A lot of people have had success with that. Especially if it's organic horseradish, you should be able to grow it.
Yeah, if it's organic, you probably can. Well, of course, then you got to be careful because a lot of this organic stuff's coming out of China, and when it crosses from one country to another, they spray the heck out of it with chemicals.
Yeah. What can I do to save my cherry blooms this year from a late frost?
Deepsouth Homestead. Let's see. If you've got some wetting tool or something like that, you might can put over the tree. You might can mist it. Put a mister around it, a sprinkler, and sprinkle water on it at night. If it's going to freeze, that might save it. I mean, there's a couple of different things.
Mr. Ray has asked, what is a good day this month to plant potatoes? Because he missed it last month. I did see that a while ago.
Mr. Ray, I don't have a calendar in front of me, to be honest with you. I don't know. We planted ours weeks ago.
Yeah.
And I honestly don't know because I don't have the calendar in front of me.
I think you've answered this a couple of times.
Which one?
How do you think food rationing would be implemented?
Just like it was back during World War II. I mean, they'll gradually tell you can't. They'll just tell you, you gotta have to be in a certain income bracket, and you'll be given, a food rationing book tells you what you can have and what you can't have.
Yeah, they're already doing it. Like I saw Dee posted earlier that she went to Sam's, I believe she said, and they were totally out of salt, and she said they were rationing the sugar. You can only get X amount of sugar. Already they're rationing you, and you just don't really realize it when you go in and they say 1 loaf of bread per purchase, or 1 bag of sugar, or 1 gallon of milk. They've just rationed you. Yes, it was Jeff Register.
Yes, it was Jeff Register. Yeah.
So you're already being told how many you can get.
Alton Johnson said, would EMP affect worldwide or is it more location specific? Guys, I wish I could get really in depth with y'all about this.
You can kind of limit it.
I can limit it just a little bit. Right now, there's so much new technology with EMPs that, to be perfectly honest with you, they can pinpoint places and never destroy anything around it. They've got it down now to where it's actually on the weapons themselves, like rifles and guns. They can use it to point it at things, and they can just take out specific pieces of equipment. They have drones flying around now. They can take out like a high-rise building. They can take out that whole building and not affect anything next to it. I mean, they've got so many different options now with EMPs. It's not necessarily about detonating a nuke anymore. That's old school EMP now.
Yes.
Should we stockpile salt? Yes. Wanda and I buy it by the 50-pound bags and store it up. I urge anyone to get as much salt stored up as you can.
Somebody was saying something about is it the price of grain and stuff to get rid of small homesteaders. Not necessarily. No. It's just that grain is not being produced on a rapid enough pace to fill the world's needs. And then when you have one country keeping theirs to themselves and not sharing, or like we share ours somewhere and we need it at home, there's lots of issues around, but there's just not enough grain. And if you remember last year, there were, and the year before, the different corns, the different wheats that were not produced here, you can imagine it catches up a year later.
Let's see there. Phil has asked a question. I ordered some comfrey, and I know animals can it, but can humans use it? That's a question. Humans can use it in moderation, but that's a question that Billy from Permapastures Farms would probably be better to answer that, because they sell the stuff. They use it on both animals themselves and everything for fertilizers and all, so they would be better to answer that.
They're wanting to know where to get 50-pound bags of salt.
You can get it from feed stores. You can get it from butcher shops,
restaurant stores,
anywhere like that.
Stores that sell restaurant grade material, like bulk.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
Have we butchered our second pig yet? No, we have not.
Soon, and very soon.
I hope pretty soon.
Any tips on growing sweet potatoes? We have a playlist.
We have a whole playlist of videos, plus we have a book on our Etsy store that I wrote.
No, I don't have any in here.
That tells you everything about growing sweet potatoes. How do we store salt? We have big dry plastic totes, and we put the 50-pound bags over in those plastic totes and seal them.
Yeah, and you should get non-iodized and iodized.
Yes.
When you're canning, I usually use non-iodized, and everybody asked why. It's because iodized leaves kind of a milky look to stuff, plus sometimes a taste difference.
Yeah.
So it's best to use the non-iodized, but in canning, you want salt in your jars unless you're using a sweet something, and then you want sugar or some sugar substitute in it for the most part.
Let's see here.
Somebody wants to know, is black cow affected with grazon?
I have not seen anybody have problems with black cow and grazon. I mean, if you want to watch a good channel, it's Hollis and Nancy. They have a great channel, and that's all he's used his whole YouTube career is black cow, and the man grows amazing stuff.
They're saying get iodine too. Somebody's wanting to know, is there bird flu in our state yet? And somebody else asked, were we worried about our flock getting bird flu?
No, I haven't heard of any in my state. Guys, I'm really not worried about it. I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, there's nothing I can do about it. I'm not going to sit back and worry about it. If it happens, it happens. It's carried by wild birds, and the best thing to do is keep them away from your place as much as you can. Do you think we should be helping the Ukrainians more? Now, that is a trick question.
You might not want to answer it.
Because there's a lot of stuff going on behind the scenes that I can't talk about on here right now that deals with the Ukraine, it deals with our country, it deals with our president. I mean, there's lots of stuff that I'm not...
So yes, no, maybe. That's the best way to answer it.
They need help. The type of help would be not sending weapons in there. They need help from adjoining, from NATO does need to step in and help them, I believe. But they also need to change the leadership. Let me put it that way, of the country.
So we don't get in trouble. We getting off that subject.
Yeah. So I can't stay on that subject. I can get in trouble on that one real easy.
Where do you buy the? We answered that, the 50-pound bags of salt. What is another supply store besides Tractor Supply? Most any of your farm supplies.
Your farm supplies, your feed stores.
Feed store. Almost every town has
co-ops.
a local co-op or local feed store.
Anything like that.
And somebody, I don't know if somebody asked about chickens, but apple cider vinegar and garlic and water for chickens.
Yeah, Hollis and Nancy are great people. Yeah, they have the wheats and the tares in the administration of the Ukraines. I mean,
just like the U.S.
Guys, there's a lot of truth to what Putin's doing, but there's also a lot of evil to what the man's doing.
Okay. So, let's see.
Fleet Farm. Yeah, we buy a lot of stuff from Fleet Farm. It's actually a pretty good place to buy from them.
Yeah, you can order online. Tractor Supply has so many shortages in Michigan. We haven't been, it's been a couple of months, and we only go if there's something specific we're looking for. I don't remember why you even went the last time. There was something in particular
I
looking for, because we go to local feed stores and stuff here. Tractor Supply is here, but we hardly ever buy any kind of feed there. That's not why we go.
Do we grind wheat berries and make our own bread? No, because I'm gluten intolerant, and Ms. Wanda,
I hardly use bread.
She hardly uses bread here at all. So no, we don't do wheat berries.
If I do any kind of bread, I buy a loaf of bread, throw it in the freezer, and when I want a piece of bread, it's so much easier on me just to grab a piece out.
Where can you get your pH for your dirt tested? You can buy your own pH testers offline. Just don't buy one of the little cheapy ones. Make sure you get a good quality one. And we have 2 of them here. I use them all the time, and it has turned out to be really good.
How long do you bottle feed a calf until you give it hay?
I start letting my calves have hay anytime they want it. I don't necessarily hold it from them. I'll make hay available to them while I'm bottle feeding them, and they will naturally gravitate towards it and start eating on it. It's not going to hurt them, as long as they don't overindulge in it or something like that before the rumen in their stomach gets started. And I always keep a good tube of rumen stuff in a paste. It's like a little squeeze tube. You insert it in the corner of their mouth and squirt it in their throat, just to make sure the rumen gets started real good if you suspect a problem. Yeah,
and they will start eating grass, hay, and you can try them on a little feed, at a month?
Probably, at a month. I start giving mine just a little bit of calf manna, just a little bit.
Do you have a link to post where you purchase your soil test? That's a local...
We do it through Mississippi State University.
Yeah.
You go down to your local agricultural extension office, and they can normally set you up with somewhere to get your soil test done. We pay $8 a sample here.
Is it too late to start sweet potato slips?
No. You got sweet potato slips can be started now. You got plenty of time. It takes about a month or a month and a half for them to actually come out of the ground. That is, if the ground is warm enough. Now, if it's cold, it's going to take longer than that.
Aaron says, I keep hearing soil has bacteria when you're starting plants. Should I bake it in the oven?
No. You need bacteria in your soil, as long as it's a good bacteria.
I'm not going to be putting a bunch of... gosh, we'd have to put a lot of dirt in my oven, and
that ain't happening. No. That ain't happening.
To me, that's silly.
No.
Now, if you're just doing like a little bit and you thought you had to for some reason, but you need bacteria, good bacteria. Now, there's a difference.
Susan said, thanks for the recommendation of McCaskill Farms. We've got to call them back. They were actually supposed to call us back, and they never did, so we need to call them and see what's up.
Yes, the popcorn and the rice is amazing. And we've had a lot of people say they love the popcorn. And I've got to order some more.
It's me. What do you mean Berkey's the same as Alexapure? Berkey and Alexapure are not the same thing. We have Alexapure because we don't like the Berkey. The Berkey takes too many filters for too high a price. The Alexapure does the same thing, a better job with one filter.
Okay, yes, I do have different medical herbs and things I use. I keep doTERRA essential oils, but there are several essential oils that are good. Do not buy the junk in Walmart. Make sure you get a quality essential oil. I keep a supply. We grow a lot of herbs. We don't necessarily take them daily. We have them on the place in case. I made my own colloidal silver. That's something that we keep here. If you want a book, there's many herb books out there, but Prescription for Natural Healing, I believe, is the name of the one book that I got. That's my go-to. It's been my go-to for 20-something years. It's I think it's Prescription for Natural Healing. Isn't that it?
I think that's right.
I think that's right. And then any herb books, there's quite a few out there that have a lot of good information. I think in the description of this live stream there's a list of some books, but I don't know if there's any herb books in it. I forgot what we put in there.
Okay, Phil wants to know, how deep does a root cellar need to be? It needs to be at least 2 foot below the top of the surface of the ground. That's what I have found from my climate. Now yours may be different. Are we expecting any severe grain shortages? Yes, it's already happening. The price of everything is going extremely high, and there's going to be shortages. Did the squirrels stay away when we used bone saws? No, it did not affect the squirrel.
Nothing affects a squirrel except
Nothing affects a squirrel except a bullet. Even the cows licked it. Can you can meals like shepherd's pie, spaghetti, eggs, and bacon and grits?
I think they're too thick and too...
I think they're too dense to do it.
Yeah, I wouldn't try it.
I tried to order bulk from McCaskill, but shipping was outrageous. We ordered bulk, and we didn't have any problem. I mean, it depends on what you order, I suppose.
So I guess it's according to how much you order, but shipping is outrageous. I don't care what you're ordering.
Yeah.
If it weighs more than 5 pounds, if you're ordering 10, 15, 20 pounds of anything, 30 pounds, we ordered, what, 20 pounds of rice?
Yeah, we got 25 pounds of rice.
I didn't remember the shipping being too bad, and then I bought 6 bags of popcorn, which was, I think, 2 pounds each, and then some flour. So mine was a pretty big order, and I don't remember it being bad.
Okay.
I don't know.
With the price of grain, is it still worth it to raise chickens for meat? Let me put it to you this way. I don't care what it costs to raise them, because I don't never look at anything on a dollar value. Because to me, if I'm raising it here at home and I'm taking care of it myself, I know what goes into it. To me, it don't matter what it costs as long as it's healthy. I'd rather spend the extra money raising my own stuff than I had to go to a grocery store and pay for something that I don't know what's in it, that may cause me some kind of health problems down the road.
Yeah.
Now,
okay, you going back?
I'm going to go way up now. Okay.
Ours was $20 for a 25-pound bag of popcorn. Well, it's because it's 25 pounds.
Yeah.
That's about normal, because when I ship, see, I just have those tumblers. Y'all, a tumbler doesn't weigh anything, and I've been paying up to $15 to ship a tumbler to people. So if you get 25 pounds of popcorn for $20, that's a really good price. I promise you, because I ship all the time.
Okay, off topic. Questions. Have you ever done any good with onion sets? It depends on what you're calling a set. Now, if you're talking about the little miniature bulbs that's like a 1/2 inch to 1 inch in diameter, do not plant those, because all you'll ever get is some green onions and a little small bulb. If you want large, big bulb onions, you have to use onion sets the little long stem ones that had the tops cut off of them, like you get from Dixondale or Walmart or wherever like that. And then you have to make sure that the onions that you buy are the right daylight hours for your area. So don't ever plant the bulbs if you plan on thinking that you want to have a big bulb onions. All right, let me get this thing back up here where I can.
Let me show this. Okay, this is it. Now it may be a different color because this is an older book. This book's 20 years old. I've had this book a long, long time, maybe 25. But this is the herb book because it talks about the ailment and tells you everything you can do, not just the herbs, but it tells you vitamins, it tells you what you can eat, what you can't eat, what will affect it, different things like this. This, I don't even know if they make this book anymore either, but this is probably my go-to herb book. I've had it over 20, 25 years. And then this one is my more colorful one, has colorful herbs. And it has things where I can tell what things look like. Let me find pictures like this. So I like all three of them. Okay.
Now, we had a person this past week send us a nice card.
It's the name's over there.
Okay, the name is over here. So how you say? My eyes are blurry. I can't tell.
S-A-I Sarita.
Sarita.
And I'm not saying the last name, but from Pennsylvania.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, Sarita from Pennsylvania. Thank you. It's a very thoughtful of you. We also had someone send us. I thought this was really cool. Look at this, guys. Let me get this up where I can show it here. Get it right. I thought that was interesting. Those big redwood trees, and you got the history of them down there and everything like that. That is a really cool. Actually sent us 3 of them. I like that. I may even frame one to keep over to cabin or something. But we had those couple of things come in this week, and
what it says from D&M Services.
Yeah, D&M Services.
Yeah,
yes.
I think his name is Daniel too.
Yeah. Do we have any more Danny corn to sell on Etsy? Not this year, I don't. I've sold all I had. We've got to plant some more.
We have our stash, but we've got to have enough to plant. So we're not selling any this year.
What is the safe toothpaste mentioned a while back? Tom's is the only one we found. And you've even got to be careful with Tom's because you got to make sure you get the one that's fluoride free. And then Tom's was actually bought out by a big company, and I'm not sure now how accurate it is to even say that Tom's is even good.
Your grandson Trey's on here. Hey Trey.
Hey Trey.
Advice on how to reduce transplant shock.
Well, first thing, it depends on where your plants are coming from. If you're buying transplants from a store, they've had growth inhibitor sprayed on them. The best thing to do is to take the plant, turn it upside down, put your hand on the bottom where the soil won't fall out of it, and dip the whole plant up and down in Miracle Grow several times to wash off all the stuff that's on it as much as you can and to infuse it with that Miracle Grow so that maybe it'll start growing again because they're designed to not grow and get leggy while they're in shipment and all this stuff. And then use fish emulsion to fertilize them with after you get them done because fish emulsion is just really good on them. And then acclimating them. Don't just take them from a hot environment and put them into a cold environment or a cold environment and put them in a hot environment. Do anything late in the evenings. Protect them. I mean, there's several things you just have to do.
Okay, so guys, go ahead and be putting your prayer request up.
Do we both have sons? No, I do not have any sons. I only have daughters.
Danny has 2 daughters, and I have 2 daughters, and then I have 3 sons.
Yes.
One of my sons was here today, him and his wife, and he helped Danny on the barn a little bit.
Yeah, Jesse was here today helping me.
And we've got, we did put up a video, was it yesterday, on the barn, showing the cows. Danny's got a little more done on the boards, like we said earlier when Mr. Mickey jumped in. You and Jesse put the last of the boards that I had stained up, and that gets all the boards Mr. Mickey's done.
Yes.
Brought so far. Thank you. Yes, Patty is a sweet person.
Yes, she is.
Trying to get her to growing in a GreenStalk. She's going to give it a try.
Yes. Okay.
Now.
All right, we got to, let's see, it's after 9 o'clock.
Yeah.
We need to go ahead and pray where people can get off from here. And we've got a lot to pray for tonight, people. A lot to pray for. Father, we come to you tonight. We thank you for, once again, for being so kind to us tonight, Lord. It's been a good chat tonight. Been a lot of people had a lot of good questions, and I pray we was able to help people out with their questions, and that's always a blessing for us to be able to be a blessing to others. And Father, we do pray you continue to bless us so that we can be a blessing to others. And Lord, we thank you for such good people being in our chat, being on our channel, and Lord, just that's a blessing to us. But because everybody's been so kind and so generous tonight, I just want to pray a special prayer of blessing upon each and every one of them. Been many requests made tonight already. People asking for prayer for some of their family members and for some physical issues and everything. And Lord, I'm just going to ask that you meet everyone's needs here tonight. We have physical needs, financial needs, emotional needs, Lord. There's all kinds of needs that we have. You know, Wanda and I both have physical needs right now. Wanda's surgery. I'm praying for her tooth that it'll get better and where it was taken out. And my knee is on the mend, and I pray that it'll continue to mend and do well. Even as I get older, it won't give me no more trouble, Lord, but it'll actually heal like it's supposed to. And Father, I pray for the people of Ukraine. Father, even though the government of Ukraine is wicked, the people were just people like everyday people anywhere else in the world, and they didn't ask for this. And wicked leaders in the world they just have agendas, and Father, they want to go in and try to take control and make slaves out of everybody, and that's just not the right way to do anything. And we pray for the Ukrainian people tonight, Lord, and we just pray that you'll watch over them as they try to flee their country or they try to stand up for their country, Lord. Take care of them. I know that there's going to be a loss of lives because when you're dealing with wickedness and Father, when you're dealing with mainly just end time prophecy, when the king of the north begins to make his move to the south, he's going to do these things. And it's not to say that we shouldn't help take care of the situation, but the end result is he's going to go south, and we know that. So we pray that you'll be kind to all the people in his path, Lord. And Father, as we journey through our own country here, we deal with a lot of wickedness over here in high places and in our government also. And I'm just praying that you, I don't know, Father, watch over your own people here. It's not going to do any good to pray for the government because the government is wicked. It's going to play a part in end time prophecy. So let's just pray for your children, Father. Let's pray that your children can find grace and mercy in all the things that go on around us. We can find hope, and we can find happiness and peace of mind and no fear, Lord, because fear is of the devil. It's not from you. So I'm going to pray that the people that are your people find everything they need to find, be able to afford everything they need to be able to afford, and to be prosperous. Even though things around us may crumble, I'm praying for prosperity for your people tonight, Father. Lord, just as we go through the remainder of the night, help us to all rest well so that we can rise up tomorrow and go about our daily chores. And Father, most of all tonight, we want to beg for forgiveness from where we've caused harm or sin upon you or your kingdom, Father. We ask these things in thy name. Amen. Okay. All right. Okay.
Oh, Dry Gulch's grandson. It just popped into my mind. They ended up with him in the hospital. He had a seizure was having seizures last weekend, and she said it took him over 24 hours to get that youngin some medicine that he needed, and they had to kind of throw a fit, and they've been staying day and night with him since then. So we're going to keep that family in our prayers.
Yeah, Miss Sharon and them are dear friends of ours. And Sheila says, with Putin going to gold standard, Danny, what should we do if we just don't have the kind of dollars to change to gold? Go over and read in the Bible. Just Google it, where they talk about casting the gold and the silver into the streets and cursing it because it will not fill their bellies. So the bottom line is this: I don't worry about gold and silver because the Bible's done told me it's going to be thrown in the streets and cursed. I don't worry about it. I put my stuff into assets I can lay my hands on that's going to provide for me and my family, whether it's fruit trees, hand tools I can use on my farm here, things to this nature, animals, any way to feed me, water sources, pure water purification, things like this is all I'm interested in. I don't believe in the gold and the silver thing because the Bible just tells me it's not going to work in the end of time, and it's not going to fill my belly, so I don't worry about it.
Yeah, that's a good point.
And guys, with this solar stuff that's starting to happen out here, there's going to be a lot of people that's going to start having a lot of physical issues, and I'll probably be one of them.
Somebody's saying they're having problems breathing the last couple of days.
Well, you're going to start having headaches, toothaches, heart palpitations, all these kind of things. You're going to start having dizziness. Anxiety is going to grow high. With the magnetic fields of the earth changing as these binary systems beginning to move in, you're going to start having some problems physically. So just be aware of that. Don't freak out. It's just the solar system is causing this to happen. Timothy is potassium iodide, D-I-D-E. I've seen that come through like 1,000 times.
Yeah, the best thing is to invest in food, water, the necessities you need, because that's what's going to get you through.
Yeah.
Having a whole bunch of gold stacked in the back room is not going to feed you.
It's not going to feed you.
You need to be looking at what you need to survive. Food, water, any kind of medicines, because doctors are not going to be there to help you.
Right.
Just saying. It's been proven in the past 2 years how much they really help people. They give you something and brush you off until they can't brush you off anymore. Florida wildfire victims. Obviously, there's some wildfires in Florida.
Guys, there's so much stuff fixing to happen. I would sit down face to face and talk to somebody, but it ain't going to do me any good on here because all it's going to do is just bring the trolls out. And, iodine, let me say this. Iodine is for like when you go to the hospital and you have to have stitches or something like that. They put the iodine, which is, what do we have? We have it here. What's it called? The red...
Mercurochrome?
No,
methylate?
No, it's in the big bottle in the bathroom in there. Iodine. We have it in the bathroom. You pour it in a wound. Like if you get...
I know what, but I don't know.
Yeah, I know what it is anyway. We have it anyhow. It's iodine. Okay?
Just know that's what it's really...
It's really iodine. It's made to scald out something.
Anxiety is going to be bad.
Yes, anxiety is going to be horrible.
But you guys, if you have faith in God, put your faith there and try to calm down, because when you're...
Betadine, that's what it is.
Yeah, when you're anxious, you do stupid stuff or you act in haste. Try to stop, calm down, then think. Make that your motto. Stop, calm down, then think.
Yeah, guys, that's the reason Scripture tells us in the latter days of the age, men's hearts will fail them for fear. And that's just simply going to be because of what's coming. We got things coming. You or me or anyone else, the Bible says things are coming upon the earth that man has never experienced before. And with that being said, that's going to be enough to make men's hearts fail. And even the Bible goes, the Lord says in the Scriptures, if I did not shorten the days or the time, even the most elect, would be fooled into what's coming. Nobody would make it. Man would just be annihilated if God didn't shorten the time. It's just going to be that bad. So just keep that in mind. There's, I could tell you a ton of things, but I can't on here tonight.
Yeah, don't let emotions drive you.
Right.
That's one of the hardest things as a woman, is not to let your emotions drive you, because we can fly off the handle in a heartbeat. Yep. We can jump to conclusions. We can get scared really quick. You got to learn to stay calm, because it's going to take your mind being calm to handle what's coming. Don't believe everything you see. Don't believe everything you hear.
Me and Jesse was talking about this today. You ever noticed when one of God's angels showed up to mankind? The Bible explains the angels. It said some of them have 6 wings and 3 or 4 heads and all this kind of stuff. You ever notice anytime they ever show up in front of mankind, they say, what's the first things that come out of their mouth to you? Be not afraid.
Yep.
Because if you see this, you're going to freak you out. I mean, you're going to be scared to death.
So if an angel popped up in your house right now,
yes,
you're not expecting this pretty white, gorgeous looking kid with big white wings. That's a myth.
That's a myth. God tells you what his angels look like. They got 4 heads and 3 heads and 6 wings and all this kind of stuff.
It does describe them. And we overlook that lots of times. So if something like that was to appear to you, it would freak you out. And so people do miss all these things in the Bible where it tells you a little bit here and there on what you're going to be, you would see if you opened your mind to it, I guess.
Yeah. And we were just talking about this today, how when one of them shows up, the first thing it tells somebody, fear not. Don't be afraid. And you're like,
because you are.
They're like, don't be afraid. I'm like, how the heck am I supposed to keep from being afraid? You're seeing something I ain't never seen before. And this is God's angels. You just imagine when Satan's angels show up, what they're going to look like.
They're even worse.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, so we got to go.
We got to get off of here, guys. We said we was going to get off a while ago, and we done been 20 minutes longer. We love you. We appreciate you. And we will see y'all hopefully in the next video.